Hi, my name is Robert Douglas, and I'm the director of the Open Goldberg Project, and I'm here with Bob Lord of Parma Recordings. Hey, Bob.
Hey, great to see you.
We're talking today about Kimiko Ishizaka's upcoming recording of the Well-Tempered Clavier, which will be recorded on the Nirvana label. And I just wanted to reach out and get a little bit of insight into who is Bob Lord, and how did you become the CEO of a record company?
Well, I've been in the music business my whole life, and one thing leads to another. You start off by playing bass and writing some tunes, and next thing you know, you're producing symphony orchestras. So no, it's actually a long and circuitous story, but it really comes out of the fact that it's born out of the fact that I'm an artist and I love art, and it's been core to my existence for my entire life. And classical has been a passion of mine for a long time. And about 5.5 years ago, I started Parma Recordings with the express intent of creating and curating and distributing and turning people on to new music.
And do you find I'll call it, for lack of a better word, the classical music industry, do you find that to be particularly challenging in today's market? I mean, a lot of people have stopped buying CDs, isn't that true?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think what we're talking about is no longer a transaction where somebody has an item that has some music on it that somebody wants, and we're transitioning to a larger dialogue about what is the footprint of awareness about an artist's work, which I think dovetails in very tightly with this particular project. And I've been asked by many people, why would you work on a project which is going to essentially give away what you as a company sell? And as I said before, I'm not a purveyor of small plastic objects. I'm a purveyor of experience. And I think that there is intent in music, and I believe that it's possible and very possible and easy to see the intent behind the creation of art. And I think in this case, there are a lot of recordings of this piece out there that people can find. There's a lot of ways that they can access this exact music. But they can't access this exact version of this music, nor can they access the emotion that went into, or is going to go into, pardon me, the actual creation of it. And it's not just about a recording, it's about living with this music for years and years and years, which Kimiko has. And the audience will be the beneficiaries of that experience in that earnest, honest intent of saying, hey, here's something that you should be turned on to, and I'm going to help you do it. And that's what she said, that's what you said, and that's what we're going to do too.
That's great, and that leads me directly into a lot of the reasons why the Open Goldberg Project chose Parma Recordings as the label to release this CD on. And I wanted to tell the story about how we found you and how we chose you, because it's a little informative and instructive, I think, maybe for other musicians out there who are also thinking about doing recordings, about the process we went through. So we were interested in a label that was really committed to quality. So where you looked at the website and you looked at their recordings and you looked at everything that they were doing, and it just spoke of passion for the arts. And we were looking for a label that was open to trying new things too, and somebody who was going to distribute worldwide was also important to us. And then very importantly, somebody who was going to be willing to support us during our Kickstarter campaign, which is running right now, where we're raising money and in a way pre-selling CDs and recordings so that we can actually go ahead and do the recording. And it's a full year before this recording is going to be available, and we wanted somebody who would support us that far in advance. And then finally, just like you said, we were looking for a label that would support our efforts to make Bach more accessible to the widest range of people possible. And you know what? We got on the phone with you guys, and it was a perfect fit, and I just wanted to say thank you for all of that in advance.
I appreciate that very much. And from our angle, I think there were a couple interesting things about this particular project, but in general, we're really careful about the projects that we work on, and it's very important, in my opinion, to be working with people with whom you can collaborate. And I'm a bass player. I was trained to collaborate. I was actually trained to do what I was told, which I ended up not being very good at. But in this particular case, I think that we saw a project which had a lot of forethought, a lot of advanced planning, and had somebody behind it who already had a track record of having said, I'm willing to roll up my sleeves and to put my blood, sweat, and tears on the table to make this work. So when the project came across our desk, it was tremendously fascinating to us because, again, there was another dimension to it. And it wasn't simply about, I want to get this piece out and I want to try and sell some records, because we all know that that is a game that we're not going to be playing for a lot longer. And what you're talking about and what the mission of this project is, it dovetails in very closely with I think, the ethos of our company, and also just my passions, which are turning people on to stuff that they might not know that they will like. And it's just an issue of lowering the barrier of entry and saying, well, maybe you had to pay a couple cents to check this out before, but now you don't. And if you want to have a different experience with it, if you want to hear this music in a different context, if you want to digest it differently, well, here's a full, beautiful, deluxe, gorgeous product that you can do that with. But it's not going to preclude you in Parma, in Kimiko, from getting people to listen to this amazing piece of work. This piece of music, which is in the souls of so many people across the world, just at a click. And that was tremendously exciting to all of us here, and we're glad to be working on it.
That's great. So, just for clarification for the people watching and listening, this CD is literally going to say, copy this music, share this music with somebody, and teach them to love Johann Sebastian Bach. And for us, this is a message that really makes a lot of sense in terms of building audience and reaching out to new people. How did that come across as the label? I mean, did that make sense to you as well, or was that scary?
No, it makes total sense. You know, look, we've been working on projects for a long time where we've been bundling scores and parts on the actual discs themselves, or providing them at a download site, or making them generally available to people. And I think the idea and the notion that you gotta, spend $18 to rent a percussion part, and then if you don't get all the pencil marks out, then you gotta pay a $450 fee. This to me is ridiculous. I think the concept of virality is something that classical music needs to embrace, and embrace heartily. And I think more importantly, like I said, we're not a record label that's just out here to sell product. We're a licensing company. We're a publishing company. We're in some sense a booking firm. We're a production house. We're contractors. We're schedulers. We do absolutely everything from beginning to end of any given project and product. And that, to me, is all the more reason to find stuff which says, hey, you know what, you should check this out. Hey, you should listen to this. Because we're in an environment right now where it's more and more difficult to get people into the concert hall, to get them to hear the great masterworks of our time and previous times that they should be listening to. And getting a $50 ticket price on something and saying, hey, come on in, that makes it a lot harder. So this strategy, this idea, with the piece which is so tried and true, which has such emotional resonance with so many people, this is only a good thing for a company like ours, and I think only a good thing for a producer like yourself and an artist like Kimiko.
What are some of the false perceptions about having a record? I think that there's maybe an idea that if you have a record out there, then all of a sudden you have a name and you've got cash flow and money coming in. What happens actually after an artist makes a record?
Well, you and I both know if you build it, they will come. As I've said many times, is a really, really crappy strategy. It just doesn't work. I would say that anybody who goes to a record label, whether it's Parma, a classical label, a pop label, jazz label, doesn't matter what it is, anybody who's going to anybody else, and for that matter a manager or a booking agent or a publicist, and thinking that they're going to write a check and then everything will be taken care of for them, that is a really, really bad misconception. Now, for a company like Parma, when an artist works with us, we do handle almost everything from soup to nuts. It's really ridiculous, as you've experienced, in terms of the attention to detail that we put in every single facet of the project. But without the active engagement of the artist, without the active engagement not only in the production process, saying, well, I like that take, I don't like that one, or that dynamic is incorrect, or I think I'd like that to be solo instead of tutti. But that carries right through into graphic design, art, marketing, I mean, absolutely every aspect of this. And it involves this engagement, I think, with the company or the organization or the individual that you're working with. But then the leveraging of that creation, that's a whole other bailiwick. And I think that it needs to be looked at in terms of saying, well, it's like a piece of property. It's like a home. If you own a home, well, you have to make capital improvements. You have to attend to the land. You have to attend to absolutely every aspect of it to make sure that the property appreciates in value. And it's just like that with a record. You have to do the exact same things in order to say, well, I'm going to go out into the world and I'm going to get a dialogue going about this. I'm going to get performances, and we're all going to do it together. And that will make the value appreciate, both of the artist, of the content, and of the product itself. And that involves a ton of work, not just by the people here in this office, but by the artists themselves. And it's like any relationship. It's a two-way street. You get what you give. And I think it's a very important lesson that we all should learn at a much younger age.
Amen to that. And we've really appreciated the support that you guys have given us in marketing and promoting the Kickstarter campaign. It's certainly been a factor in the success of the campaign, which is still ongoing. And then for us, what it looks like in the future is in March and April next year, we're going to go to the studios. We're going to record the Well-Tempered Clavier with Kimiko Ishizaka. And then you can expect to see this recording out, I think, around October of 2014 is what we're targeting. Yep. And we're going to do a nice tour with some premieres in Carnegie Hall, London, Paris, see all the big cities with Kimiko Ishizaka on stage to promote the release of this recording. So that's what it looks like for the Well-Tempered Clavier on Parma Recordings. Thanks a lot, Bobs, for sharing your insights and your wisdom about the recording and for making such a great label.
Oh, thank you. And again, congrats on everything going on so far, and I'm looking forward to seeing you in each and every one of those wonderful cities when you guys are on tour. And it's gonna be a lot of fun. So yeah, we're looking at about a third quarter release, and I think it's gonna be a fantastic project, and the best is yet to come. So thanks a lot.
Thank you.